Steve, I hear that there's a pleasure meeting you
Nice
once
meeting
again.
you. Thank you for having me on the
And
show.
I just want to say there's nothing like on an 80-degree day in New York City to have a jacket, a nice leather jacket too.
It was cold before, you know.
He was just in The Sopranos, but anyway, that's so tell me how you've been operating in show business a bit.
Well, I started when I was 15 years old, I started in high school. I did some plays, and then everybody said I was really good at it. I had natural ability, and I'm like, well, you know, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I always kind of liked acting since I was a kid. I would perform, and I just got into it. I started doing auditions, local theater groups, this and that, and I just, luckily, you know, somehow I just kept passing audition after audition with no experience. And then as the years progressed, you know, there's the do's and don'ts to this biz. You know, you go through your scams, you know, bogus photographers, bogus agencies, thousands of dollars wasted. Everybody's trying to be a superstar. And then so I got through all that over probably the past 15 years, and then finally started getting some good agents and some good gigs, some good roles, a lot of featured extra roles and some big movies with some big names. And that led to other things, you know, because when I'm on the set, I don't just stand there, even if it's just extra work. I'm happy to be working, and I make sure I meet the director, and I make sure I bring my headshot resume, and I network. It's all about networking. And from there, I always got bumped up to small roles. I got into the Screen Actors Guild back in 2007 on college road trip. I had decided I was going to give up on this career. And my neighbor who wanted to get into showbiz said she was working on college road trip as an extra. And she begged me to go with her to do this. And I'm like, no, I'm done with the extra work. I'm just always an extra, you know. And she's like, just do this one last gig for me. So I went, and we ended up bringing our own wardrobes and stuff because they said to bring extra in case they didn't have any. And she made her own costume. I went and bought this like Roman Emperor costume, and you can use it as like a Greek, you know, thing for the scene.
Roman Emperor costume,
of course,
very important.
of course, it sells. And so I showed up, and we did the first day of filming as an extra with Raven Simone and Martin Lawrence as a toga guy. And then somebody in wardrobe said, "Oh, is that your costume?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, here, put it on." I'm like, "But I've already been filming in this scene." He's like, "No, don't worry about it, put it on." So I put it on. He's like, "You know what? That's awesome." He's like, "You're bumped up your SAG." And I'm like, "Really?" Now, the week before, okay, I planned on giving up because I went to a place called Terrific Talents. Marianne Leone from Terrific Talent.
Marianne at Terrific Talent.
She cast a lot of big shows like Sopranos and everybody, and I was referred to her, and I tried desperately to get in there. And it must have been like my second or third attempt meeting with her with my resume, and I read a script for her, and she's like, "You're good, but you know what? You're not SAG yet." She goes, "And if after all these years, you're getting older, you know what? Just give up." She's like, "Just give up. It's never going to happen." So I think I said something about like, you know, F you or whatever, and I was really upset. She crushed my spirit, and I said, "You know what? If somebody like her is the best in the business telling me I don't have it, I'm just going to give up." A week later, I get a call to do this road trip thing, and I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it." So I did it for my friends. I got into SAG. I went back there the next week to meet with her, unscheduled. I said, "Okay, you said I'd never get into the Screen Actors Guild. Here it is. Now will you take me on?" "No, there's too many people that look like you." And I'm like, "Really? Okay, I've not seen one yet." I mean, but, you know, I'm like, okay, there's always time. So, crushed my spirit again, but then I ended up getting listed with Marianne Claro Philadelphia. And from there, I did other stuff like 30 Rock and stuff, little featured extra roles. And that wasn't really going anywhere for a while. So I got a lot of my own work on my own, Craigslist, and I just, Backstage Magazine, I just beat the pavement myself. I don't take no for an answer. And so I'm pretty much my own agent. And then finally, this past year, my computer crashed. I lost 15 years of data. I had nothing backed up. All of my photos, everything, every connection to this biz. I used to sit there for 12 hours a day submitting and submitting. I had nothing to submit anymore. So I'm like, this is a sign. It's done. It's not going to happen. You know.
The party's over. That's the
party's over.
That's
I'm 32 years old, and
32.
Nobody's going to take me on at 32 when I
That's
have nothing but, you know, a 5-page extra resume.
Turns into a diddly squat.
Yeah, and so. Finally, something told me, don't give up. I'm a man of faith. I pray all the time. I do, and I said, I'm like, "God, what do you want from me? Do you want me to do this, or should I just give up?" And something said inside, submit to the top agencies. Just do it. And I'm like,
Noto show.
Exactly.
The Lord said.
So, exactly. Well, you know, the funny thing is I got to get to that, too, because when I heard about his show, and I've been dying to get on this show, and I never thought I'd actually get the chance, and he actually emailed me the other day, and I'm like, "Really? I'm going to be on your show?" I'm like, "That's so awesome. Like, this guy's big." So I'm all excited to be here. But, so yeah, I submitted to